your host, Marcy. I'm here with Blake, Nikki, and Harrison. Nikki, Harrison.
Hi, Internet.
You guys introduce yourselves to the world.
My name is Harrison.
What do you guys do? Who are you?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. Cosplay Radio. Kind of retired cosplay-ish.
Oh, man. Are you retired, Harrison?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to make me some stuff.
Nope.
Please do it.
Never gonna happen.
I need Super Saiyan armor. Okay.
I'll learn how to make it. There you go.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We'll learn how to make it together.
Never say never, but never gonna happen.
Yeah, you guys have done some great stuff.
I don't
in the
know. We just
past.
like to do nerdy stuff.
That's cool. That's good. That's why I have the show. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, we watched XMen Mutants. First thoughts. Harrison, go.
It's pretty good. I did not know that the movie existed until like 2 days ago when Nikki said, "You want to go watch that?" And yeah, it was pretty good. I've always been a fan of X-Men. And I know the characters. I didn't know what this movie would be about, but I liked it.
Nikki?
I liked it. I really liked some of the choices they made with witch mutants because I'm a big fan of like Cannonball and the other Guthries like Husk and Icarus, and there's my nerd knowledge, I guess, coming into play there. But I mean, it was good. They saved a lot of the bang for the end, though. It was a slow build up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Spoilers, I guess. Are we supposed to spoiler warning?
We are going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to talk half non-spoilers and the other half will be spoilers. I will let the audience know when we're talking about spoilers. Blake, your first thoughts.
Yeah, kind of following up with what they said. I remember seeing, it's been a couple of years since like they
were filming in 2019.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
I thought it was like way before that.
I think they were definitely talking about it like way before that.
Like I think scenes were shot like a while back. I don't know, but I mean, to go along with what they said, it was okay for me. That first act was slow. I do like character development is something that I think some of the other X-Men movies have lacked. They definitely did probably one of the better jobs.
Comparing it to the X-Men movies, you are correct. I did like the character development for each character. We got a little bit of their backstory, and we got to know them a little bit more than we normally would with other X-Men movies. So I like that a lot. My favorite character, I guess, would be Magic. Yeah, she was great. She was badass. I don't remember the actress's name, though. Do you?
No.
Probably should have wrote that down. I don't actually.
No.
Other than the
It's
girl.
okay. I'll show a picture right here. But she's from Split, from Witch. Oh yeah, she's becoming a pretty good actress. She's great. I like seeing her in a lot of movies. Saw her in Emma, but no, she was badass. I don't know anything about magic besides she has magic powers.
She is in the comics, and I imagine they'll establish it if they keep going with this. But she is most people know her as Colossus's little sister, but then she kind of expanded and did a lot of her own stuff.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I know I like the comics like religiously, but
Yeah.
kind of important later on.
The other characters though. Who was the main girl, the main actress? I forgot her name. Oh my gosh, we just saw us, but
Andy Moonstone.
On the screen.
yes, on the screen. Yeah, whatever. Moonstone.
Moonstar.
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 Annie Moonstar, yeah.
Something.
Moonstar. I'm not familiar with her either. Is she a main character later down
Yeah, I think she she might become like a Valkyrie and all that kind of stuff. She's pretty powerful, so I thought
the road? Yeah, she's very powerful.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a slow build up, but with what she's capable of, and I'm sure we'll go into it a little bit later, that is a very special mutant.
Yeah. She can do a lot of different things that they didn't really show that they may or may not. I don't know.
Yeah, and even with what they did show, I mean, somebody walking into I'm just thinking like, you know, if they were to walk into, you know, Magneto's base of operations or somebody who they looked at as a threat to them, what she's able to unleash and do to people and have them do to themselves, incredible.
Yeah. No, it was good. I like the CGI a lot in this movie. There wasn't a lot of CGI, but the CGI did.
Yeah, I don't think they overdid it.
They didn't
Which is
overdo it
nice.
at all. No,
The
which
bear
is,
looked. Is that spoiler?
Is that
yeah,
spoiler?
no. I mean,
No,
they
it's
showed
in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
Bear looked
bear,
pretty good.
we won't say what that bear is until later. But that bear, it was okay. But everything else besides the bear, I thought was really good. Would you guys see it again?
If you're paying, sure.
I mean, I don't want to say that like, no, it wasn't good enough to see again. Like if it was on TV, yeah. But I'm really like, there's only a few movies in my life I've probably like gone back to see more than once.
For an X-Men movie, though, I feel like it's not. For me, I don't feel like like other X-Men movies, I can watch those over and over.
Yeah.
This one, I don't really know. I haven't decided yet.
I think it's harder too if you're not as familiar with the mutants, like going in, like, you know, when you watch the original X-Men movies, like, there's Cyclops, there's Wolverine,
That's
you know,
true.
everybody
Right,
knows
right.
those mutants.
That's totally true, too.
Kind of depressing too. That movie was. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit more drama.
Dark tone.
A little darker drama.
That's kind of
maybe.
what mutants are. It's
Yeah, but
Typically, this comic book, this
compare
different.
that to the first X-Men movie.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's totally true. With the difference between these New Mutants compared to the X-Men, how are they so different and why are they so different?
Because they're new.
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean, from the comics, I don't really know. Like, how far are we into the X-Men storyline where these New Mutants get introduced?
I mean, it's kind of like the next gen idea with the New Mutants. So like your 90s staples that you think of are like, okay, they were the guys we know. These are the guys that have been the established team, and then now they're kind of moving into like, okay, we got these teenagers, these younger kids that we're bringing in, and then they, because I think most of them that we saw today eventually become X-Men. I think,
Yeah.
or at least associated with.
Yeah, and I think it was as they were trying to get away from that '90s staple, and some of those same undertones, you know, love triangles between Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean, and I think that they were trying to pull back in a little bit of a younger crowd and kind of spice things up, and so that's why. I think they were all teenagers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Mostly around 16 and things like that. And so, it was kind of like a new wave.
It's a good way for like teenagers at the time. And I want to say it was like early 2000s-ish when a lot of the New Mutants comics were coming out.
So that makes sense.
So, you know, it's so like a teenager can I can relate to this person because I'm 17 and this character is 17, as opposed to people who had grown up with like, you know, they're Cyclops and they're Wolverine, and we're like, okay, they're adults now. So
Yeah, and I feel like each individual character acted like they would be in that age too.
yeah,
Very much so.
I thought that was one of the more compelling things. They were a lot more relatable as they kind of went into more and more of the backstories. You got to see why they acted the way that they did. You know, why some of them, you know, had, you know, their guards up or were very defensive or shied away from, you know, certain interactions. And so they were extremely relatable, which is, I think, the whole point of bringing in the new wave of mutants. Were it's kind of hard to relate to, you know, to a half man, half beast, adamantium bearing, you know, Wolverine. You know, and so
No, their dialogue was great towards each other.
yeah.
I felt like very, like you're saying, very relatable.
We had a lot of things that teenagers do, you know, like at
Yeah.
first they're like testing the new kid out and
No, exactly.
being assholes, some of them, you know.
Yeah, until they get to know them, and then they're messing, with
Yeah.
them, joking around, having a good time with each other. So that was great. It was good. I don't know how much more to dive into before we get into spoilers. Anything you guys want to talk about before we start?
I was going to say you could just do like probably spoilers ahead warning.
we could talk about things that we didn't like without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
I thought the casting was really well done.
Yeah.
Minus the main girl. I actually didn't like the main girl.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt she was okay. I don't feel like she really stuck the landing for me. Like all of the other characters, I mean, I don't know a ton about her in the comics, so it may be something to do with that, but she didn't pull me in as the most interesting character. She was kind of outshone probably into like the middle, you know, of the second act of the movie to me.
Yeah. I think she might have gotten like definitely outacted.
I just think I don't know if she was trying to go for like an understated, you know, like vibe,
Yeah.
which, you know, could have been, you know, like I'm just trying to stay calm and
I guess I wanted
normal.
I wanted to feel more pain from her a little bit.
yeah.
We didn't get that too much, especially
But I think that could be because she's more about what she does to other people. without,
Yeah.
And so that could have been why.
I feel like, to me, she was just a little too much of a passenger.
Yeah.
It seemed like I understood like she wasn't quite supposed to understand what was going on, but it almost seemed like she was completely oblivious. Apart to like one or two scenes, like quick scenes where she was kind of having a rough time. I mean, she gave everybody else hell and had no idea that what she was doing. And so I wish there was a little bit more, she was a little more aware of what was going on.
I also almost felt like she got off like too easy.
Way too easy.
For what, even if it wasn't her fault, it's like, these are like emotional teenagers. I would have a stronger reaction.
There's some scars.
Yeah.
Some deep scars.
For what happened. Physical scars. And for everybody just to kumbaya at the end, it was like, well.
Yeah. Did you guys think with it being an X-Men movie, could you feel the lack of presence of other X-Men-esque characters in there?
I think you always do.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
I think you always do. I think there's always that expectations of like, is this going to tie, because we're just trained for that now. We're like, okay, but how does this tie into the other cool people we like?
Yeah. We got a cool little tie-in. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But besides that, I feel like that little part was enough to me, I guess, to connect it. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But overall, what would you guys rate the movie so far? From what you think out of seeing it? Yes, from 1 to 10. I need to know 1 to 10.
6 out of 10, I guess.
6 out of 10?
I don't know.
6 out of 10 for me. Harrison? Nikki?
I think 5. I was like right in the middle with it. Like there were things I really, really liked, and there were things I was just like, eh. But also, it's like the first movie I've seen in theaters in a long time, so I feel like, my bar is like kind of high.
Blake?
Yeah, I gave it a 6. I felt like it had. They did the thing that all X-Men movies do. Except for like the first one, they get you close. They show that potential. They show like man, this could be incredible, and then it doesn't get there. It just doesn't reach what they could have. And I felt like when we kind of talked about it, I mean, it felt like they cut quite a bit out. It felt like they could have pushed it just a little bit further, maybe with an R rating. And I'll get into why I think that once we get to the spoiler portion of this. But there were a lot of things that I really, really liked about it. But the payoff just wasn't worth the buildup for me.
No, I definitely agree. From the trailer, the first trailers we got before, I feel like there was a lot of stuff in the trailer we didn't get in the movie.
Yeah. I did feel like there was going to be more of an adventure.
Yeah. No,
that's what I was missing. Is I felt like it was very small.
Yeah, it was
which I get part of that, but also I don't know if I just like that it was that small, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. No, I expected more. I wanted to see more. And I wanted to see more of each individual's background outside of that place that we didn't get.
Because we really only got one.
Yeah, I expected
one-ish.
Yeah, I wanted more from that. But my rating, I'd probably give it a 5. And I usually give things a 5 if I want to see it again. I feel like I want to see it again just to see if I like it again. So.
Yeah, if I did see it again, it would be more to like broaden my assessment of it.
See what I missed when I looked down at my phone when I shouldn't have, or something like that. Dang. So what's the average of that? If I gave it a 5, you gave it a 5.
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
And that's probably where it deserves to be.
5.5.
Yeah. I mean, this is like if this movie was on at my house, like I'm gonna be moving around and doing other things while it's on. I'm not gonna be stuck in my seat like
eyes glued to the TV. Can't miss this.
And if it wasn't on a streaming service, if there were commercials, there's no way I would watch it.
Makes sense.
I'm not sitting through commercials.
Yeah. So YouTube world, podcast world, 5.5. I don't know how you guys rate movies, but
I feel like me saying 5 means like I didn't like it, but it's not that I didn't like it. It just wasn't enough.
You're right. I just expected.
And
a little
again,
bit
I
more.
think part of that is like I got a high bar because I haven't seen a movie in a while, and the last few that I remember seeing were pretty good.
Yeah.
I think from some of the other episodes that we've done, have we even given anything higher than 7?
Movie wise?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really rate movies. Those will be the first podcast we're actually rating a movie.
Well, okay, we've been rating actors.
Yeah, we've been rating actors.
And I think that's a
and
reflection
actresses,
of the movies that they're in.
That's true.
It's tough to get. I think an average for a movie is probably around 6. So
Yeah.
we're pretty tough on them. So
You probably haven't given anything a 10 because you haven't rated Dolph Lundgren yet.
Oh my gosh. Or Cobra or
Stallone?
Stallone. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Dang. Yeah. So now we're gonna talk into spoilers. So if you don't want to know any spoilers, turn off the episode right now. Go watch something else. Go watch the previous episodes.
Go watch other X-Men movies.
Yeah. Right off the bat, the first thing that we see. Did you guys watch that trailer that showed that beginning? The whole beginning scene?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I didn't watch trailers. I just saw like the Facebook ads
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
There's been a
So
lot
very
lately, yeah.
quick, like the like.
Okay.
Well, I guess for spoilers, like this is magic.
Oh, yeah. So straight up right away, first thing that we see is Magic and her dad running away from. Is it really the bear? Is that bear?
It's not magic. It's Danny Moonstone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was like,
thank you.
I was like,
Thank
hold
you,
on.
thank you,
that
thank
wasn't
you.
in the movie.
Thank you.
what trailer did this guy watch?
Yeah.
I was watching a whole different movie. But yeah, so Moonstar's running with her dad. He's taking her to safety. He dies right off the bat. We assume he's dead. Yeah, right?
That's what we're told.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think we saw like his dead body
Yeah.
in front of her. So
He,
yeah,
he looked pretty
He
bad.
looked-
He was
yeah.
in bad shape.
So
he wasn't dead. He was gonna die.
So in that scene, did you guys feel that urgency like, oh, we have to get to safety?
Not as much as I thought I would. Like in like okay, like when you get to later in the movie, you're like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like okay. In the trailer, it was really sudden.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, it was very sudden, but I just didn't feel the urgency of like, oh, let's get to safety right now.
I don't feel like they portrayed the gravity of the situation because you weren't sure if there was something or if
Yeah.
it was the weather. You didn't know what exactly was going on. Like there wasn't enough for you to know what you should have been afraid of. And even at the end, right before she gets knocked out, like are those footsteps? Is it just
that
the
growling,
storm?
is that something?
Well, like my immediate thought was like, is it a sentinel? You
Oh,
know what
wow,
I mean?
yeah.
Like that's what I was like, oh, is this I couldn't tell if it was, which maybe that's what they were trying to do. I was like, is this something coming after her?
Specifically,
Or
yeah.
is, this something she's doing?
Yeah.
Which obviously you find out later that is definitely something she was doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so she wakes up at that place, that school. Did they really say what it was?
I mean,
Prison.
she was handcuffed.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
She
It
wakes
had
up.
bars on all the windows. Wouldn't let them out.
And they were in cells, yeah.
Yeah, she wakes up. And I feel like that part when she wakes up and then she doesn't, to me, I don't think she freaked out enough.
I would be like, why did you handcuff me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when she was like, if you'll calm down and let me come in, I'll explain. I would have been like, hell, like, no. Like,
Yeah.
we have a major problem right now.
Yeah, so she wakes up and this doctor's like, calm down, I'll let you out or I'm coming inside.
Yeah.
And
What was the doctor's deal? Is that a character?
I did.
like
I meant to look.
girl from
her-
The
I'm
Incredibles,
sure
she
she
could do
is
that.
Right,
because
yeah,
they
the
always.
force field thing.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a evil Sue Storm.
did we see her in a previous movie? Did we see her in Logan? Or did
No,
we
I don't remember. Rias was her last name. I guarantee you she's somebody, and I probably should know who she is. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, internet. I failed on that.
Yeah. So, but we do find out later on down the road. I'm skipping a little bit forward, but we find out that she was working for the Essex Corp. Essex Corp, how you say it?
Essex.
Essex.
Sure.
Essex. I just wanted to say sex. Sorry, but I'm not familiar too much with that. I can't remember.
Mr. Sinister is ultimately what it comes down to.
Spoiler alert: Mr. Sinister is a bad guy.
What?
Yeah.
That's
hard
not,
to tell.
He's
with a
a
name
really
like that.
he's a really cool bad guy that we really haven't gotten to. I mean, I guess we did it in that one when they went back in time, but it wasn't like the '90s Mr. Sinister
Right.
with his like
Yeah.
suit and red eyes,
That would've been
and,
cool.
Thing.
That would've been
which
legit.
I don't care if it's cheesy. I'd like to see it.
I think that's the problem with the X-Men series of movies, though. They never really go as expansive as the universe
Yeah.
is. Even if it is cheesy, put it on screen because, I mean,
Except for Juggernaut. Yep.
Well, that's the thing. Like they pick
love the
weird things
Juggernaut.
about what to be cheesy about. I feel like
Right.
sometimes.
No, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah. So she wakes up. Doc talks to her, lets her know what happened. It was weird because she was like, "Yeah, a tornado happened," but then later she's like, "We both know a tornado didn't happen."
Well, I think she was trying to like get her to realize like, hey, this was probably you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, why not just start there? Why not just trigger? If that's
Right.
your end game to like see how deadly these mutants are,
Right.
just pull it out of them.
In the beginning, I thought she was trying to take it slow because she may be in somewhat of a defenseless position, being the doctor.
Yeah.
I figured if it's just her and these, 5 or 6 or 4 other people, she, must have some means to protect herself. But I didn't think, pardon the pun, she wanted to poke the bear right off the bat. So I thought that's why she was taking it slow. But finding out how strong she was later on, like, yeah, I mean, I thought, the next step would have been to do like they did Deadpool, put them underwater, electrocute them, like figure out what the hell's going on, so they, that Sixth Corp could decide if they.
Well,
wanted
she
to
might
use
have
them or
she
not.
might have done that with the previous kids before. We don't know what she.
But I don't feel like they were showing enough trauma of that.
No,
Like,
you're right.
there
Yeah,
was
they're
nothing
way
there.
too cool with them.
They're
like,
just like, all right, we'll just drug her,
Also,
no
she-
big deal.
She didn't ask about the 500 graves outside.
yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
something
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
asked
I
about.
totally
Why
forgot
did they
about that.
even put that in the movie if it wasn't going to be a talking point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So with the spoilers going forward, okay, so these new mutants are trapped in this prison, trying to get tested on, figure out their powers. I just didn't feel like these kids will be there for a while, right?
Some
weren't-
of them,
like,
yeah.
they felt like they've been.
But that was the other thing. It's like I didn't get an impression of how long they've
yeah,
been
we
there.
never got
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we never got that. I didn't understand how long they've been there, and have they tried to escape multiple times? And
Well,
then-
after watching Moonstar try it once, I'm pretty sure that's all it would take.
yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
You
But like
bust.
they were so reckless with their powers. Like you would think that like that would just be like all right, Fridays we try to get out.
Yeah, no,
Right.
totally.
You know?
right.
Yeah,
Dig under the force field, maybe.
I mean, like Cannonball's
Hey.
literally like going around in circles,
Yeah.
beating the crap out of himself. You think he'd be like, I mean, I'll just do it into the force field.
or
see
why
what
they didn't
happens.
try to go like 4 or 5 on 1 and
Yeah.
take her out. I
that
mean,
made no sense either.
I just there's a lot, like I said, that I felt like they could have expanded on, and why, hey, this, you don't want to try to leave, because I thought when she tries to make her first escape, which is shortly, I'm not jumping too far ahead here, and she takes off running, you see the wolf off to the side of her take off too, and I thought that was the deterrent. I was like,
I did too.
this is
Yeah.
going to end badly. And so, and you find out it's one of the other prison mates, cellmates.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to
Yeah.
call them. Just watching. I felt like,
Why
again,
did
it just
she let
wasn't
her-
enough.
Why did she let her run into the wall,
Mm-hmm.
but then was like, but I don't want you to commit suicide.
Right.
I want you to
That's
feel
true.
really bad, like to the point where you want to die,
Yeah.
but I'll stop you from
I
dying.
didn't get
Oh,
that was her for a while.
I thought it
was some
thought
weird
it was
Danny
her
Moonstar
spirit
vision.
animal or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what character is that? Do you know that?
Wolfsbane
Wolfsbane.
is her name. Yeah, she can turn into just a pure wolf, but she can also turn into like a
Werewolf
horror
person.
werewolf, like levels of where. I mean, that's literally her powers, basically lycanthropy.
Animorphs.
Nice. I love Animorphs. They just need to make a live action now, full on movie. They did have a great TV show
So we can
last.
give it a 6 out of 10.
Early
right?
Yes.
kind of
Exactly.
female answer to the Wolverine Sabretooth, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you gotta always have your feral character.
No, that's cool. Yeah. No. Yeah. So that scene where this girl wants to kill herself after one day, But I thought it was kind of weird that she wants to kill herself.
I mean,
after
she
one day.
lost her family.
She just woke up. She
She's-
just had. She just
and
had her
everybody's
family.
making fun of her.
But after one day, like she just woke up.
Yeah.
Like
I
she
mean,
just woke up.
I mean,
her-
granted, I haven't been in that situation, but I could see that. I mean, I've never felt that sort of guilt, but from my understanding of it, it can be extremely overpowering.
Yeah.
Especially when the entire tribe got wiped out.
Yeah.
And then you find out you're stuck in this place and you can't get out. I get it. I don't know if maybe that is like what I'm doing within an hour of me waking up. But
Seriously, it was.
maybe like the next day after I've gone to bed and
Well, I would
I'm
have
stuck here.
absorbed the gravity of my situation. Maybe,
Yeah,
but
I would.
It was also really extreme. Like I as a teenager, I feel like, because I'm gonna be honest, like when I was a teenager, I had some dark days. I feel like a lot of teenagers do.
Yeah, for sure.
But like climbing up a building, I mean, I don't want to judge how you deal with your emotions, but it seemed like a really dramatic
yeah.
way to go about it too.
And I think-
Maybe that was to express her level of sadness.
Yeah.
But
And I think even more so because she didn't really shed a tear up until that point. I don't think.
Yeah.
So-
And like I said, like it was so quick where she didn't even try anything else.
Yeah, no, she literally
Yeah.
found out she couldn't leave, and then the next scene,
She
she's
didn't
on a
even
ledge.
like try to like find other ways to leave.
well, she also didn't like go and ask the doctor, like, "Hey, why is there this fucking shield here?"
Yeah, exactly. No, we can cuss on this show. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
well, I did.
adult. It's good.
and that happened.
Yeah. No.
So,
So yes. Go ahead.
What was the deal with the smiley face guys? Is that what Magic was actually seeing, or is that just what her brain made the bad people look like since she was a kid?
Yeah.
You
So
know
we
what I
can
mean?
go. Yeah, we can go into each individual's horror or their scary
Mhm.
nightmares that they have. So as the movie's going, we're watching each individual have their own little scary nightmares that at first is just in their head for now. And Magic sees these scary.
Mhm. Like Slender Man looking guys.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you, Slenderman looking
Yeah,
people.
that's it exactly.
Yeah, and it was when she was a little girl. I couldn't tell, like, was that like a bad dream that she kept having over and over?
Well,
or
I took it as like when young children especially face trauma, the way that sort of manifests in their head can be very dramatized versions of what the real thing was.
Yeah.
Because children have a very different way of processing, especially young children.
yeah, especially when they don't understand what's
So
really
that's what
happening.
her mind sees, whether or not that's what, that person really looked like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming she was being sexually abused by multiple men.
I think it might have been just one, because if you looked at all the, and
Oh.
I don't remember, I feel bad because I don't exactly remember what, because I know that she was like a little girl and she was with her family, which was the Rasputins, which was Colossus's family. And as far as I know, to a point, like she was fine. Like he left for the X-Men and his little sister, he always checked in on her and he was fine. And then at some point she gets kidnapped and a lot of crap happens. And I'm not sure, I don't remember enough about like her storyline to know if like sexual abuse was a part that either they did or they just added, or
Yeah.
if it's one variation of, a different writer's take on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she said, they make us cry, and the more we cry, the more they smile. And so I don't know if the mask is a manifestation. When she's at her absolute most terror.
Yeah.
They have the mask on. And again,
but then they take them off.
yeah.
Then they take them off, and then like are more violent towards her when they take them off.
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Yeah,
could have dived.
I know.
I wish they could have dived into that more, but they didn't.
Mhm.
And maybe that, and like I said, I should know more. 'Cause
Yeah.
I read
It's
some
been a
of those
long
comics,
time.
but yeah.
It's been a long time.
And the kid from Stranger Things, what's that character's name?
Face here.
Yeah.
What was it, Sam?
Sam Guthrie?
Yes.
I haven't watched Stranger
okay.
Things. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I haven't watched it yet. I
I
don't
won't
know.
make Nikki look bad, so I'll just fast forward the part.
I know.
Okay. So,
Sam Guthrie, Cannonball.
yeah,
I can talk
Cannonball.
about him. I know the
Yes.
Guthries.
Yes,
I am well familiar with the Guthrie family.
His character is that exactly what happened?
What do you mean?
Like his family and like his dad.
Okay,
did he
so the coal miner thing is a thing, but in the comics, I believe his dad actually dies of black lung, not because of him. I think that they had him die because of Cannonball, because that's obviously more traumatic and dramatic, and it shows why he's a dangerous mutant.
Yeah.
But Cannonball, Sam, is the oldest, but he has several other siblings that progressively manifest power. So it'd be interesting to see if we see more of those if they keep going with this. You have Paige, who is Husk, basically peels off her skin, and she's kind of like Mystique, except it's like a peeling thing, and she always kind of looks a little bit like herself. And then you have Icarus, which is Jay, and he's kind of just like a different version of Angel, but he does more stuff with his voice. He has angel wings.
Yeah.
I think there's some others, but those are the two like relevant one is Husk and Icarus.
I think he's the only one that got a good background, where they showed him using his they really show him using his powers and killing his dad and all his friends, coworkers, but we understood that a lot more than compared to everyone's background.
It wasn't
stories.
as obscure.
Yeah.
And the thing, the other guy is Sunspot. That's what his mutant name is. Obviously, I don't think. I think the only thing they officially named was Magic, kind of.
Yeah, because she says I'm Magic. Or
whatever
she said.
Which was actually, I like that line. That was a cool way to do that.
Yeah,
it was a good nod because, I mean, she's probably one of the more well-known ones. Her and Cannonball. But I think that we could have related to them better. Like we just got little tidbit. We just got their trauma basically.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to relate to them. But sometimes that's not always the best way to do it.
Because especially if you're doing the opposite, like the normal X-Men or superhero backstories, you have more color and light to make you like them more.
Well, and I mean, I guess they were maybe like trying to juxtapose like this is the really bad way it can go if you're found by the wrong people versus if you end up at Xavier School. It's like it's still kind of traumatic, but we'll hold your hand through it better.
That's true.
So I think it was supposed to be, but that also kind of bothered me because I'm like, there's no way if this is like the second generation of mutants, these kids don't know that bad things happen to mutants and mutants just disappear,
for sure. Right.
and they wouldn't have some inclination of like, this could be one of those bad places.
Yeah. Did we get any backstory of the Wolf Girl?
Yeah, so
I can't remember.
Yeah, she was.
She walked through her story.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
Well,
I'm sorry.
ran through it.
We can
talk about
She was running through the woods.
Confiding in a priest and then
Yeah.
being told that she was a witch.
And they branded her.
And then she killed him.
I mean, I'd kill him too. Gosh.
Well, and I mean, it might not have even been something she necessarily wanted to do because
she could have been.
She said that she almost killed her. Like,
yeah, I think he
half
was
to
trying to
death.
kill her, and ultimately, either through just like reaction or whatever, she took care of him.
What other backstories is there that we haven't gone over yet?
I mean, Sunspot,
I liked him. I liked it.
rich kid, but killed his girlfriend.
Yeah. And I like that he kind of was the one holding back. Usually with that rich kid gets everything he wants type thing, he's kind of the douchey. But
they didn't hold on to the douchey thing too long, which I actually appreciated because I kind of get tired of that trope.
Yeah, not every rich dude is a douchey,
right.
Yeah.
good-looking douchebag, like, you know?
Right, yeah.
No, he was very nice. He was a typical teenager. Yeah, he was a typical teenager. Whether he was rich or not, he was a typical teenager. I thought it was really cool. He was friends with the other guy.
Yeah, I like that they didn't go with the cliche like, "Oh, I'm rich. I don't hang out with you losers."
Yeah,
Right.
I'm better than you guys.
Because I thought
I
that's what
feel
they
like
were.
When there's only four
yeah.
people before Danny got there, they would have to have some sort of relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we just didn't see that part of it, but like, I get tired of that.
No,
Like,
no,
it's-
for sure.
it's-
No, it's very stereotypical. They try to put that in the movies like that, and
Mhm.
it's not always like that. And I like the fact the kids all got along except for the new girl and Magic. Magic, I thought, was hilarious the whole time.
And she was on point with her character for sure.
Is she like that in the comics?
She's probably, I mean, yeah, at points.
Yeah.
I definitely think like going through becoming Magic, because she was just like a cute little girl, and then out of the blue, you know, holy crap, Colossus's sister is like a badass. Yeah.
No, she was the most.
And
badass
she's got a
girl.
lot of stuff to do with like, I think, doesn't she have stuff to do with like Camelot and like I don't know, old magic, like literally old magic and
I
stuff.
love that.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm in love with her character.
Somebody's gonna correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
I
They
feel
will.
like I remember some of that stuff.
Yeah, no,
Maybe I'm
that's cool.
confusing
No,
things,
she was
but-
great. I think she did an amazing job. Is she the biggest actress out of all them?
I mean, the other girl, Maisie Williams, is in Game of Thrones. That's a pretty big deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think it gets much bigger than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who I knew. I didn't know what the other girl was in. I know. I'm just telling you.
Man, well,
That's not who I knew.
Go watch Witch. Go watch Split. Go watch Emma. Sorry, I've seen it. Like everything.
Yeah, I mean, Maisie Williams was definitely the one that I recognized.
Mhm.
Yeah. No. Where we at in the
We
timeline?
haven't talked about Moonstar's power.
Yeah, which is kind of the thing.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm just bored with her character.
All right, so yeah, again, as far as I think she got outacted, but I mean, her power essentially, and you guys correct me if I make a misstep here. She can manifest maybe your deepest fears and nightmares. It started out as in the beginning of the movie as slight manifestations, almost like a not a daydream, but like a
Let me bring your.
Do you want me to read off her list of powers?
Oh,
it is,
go for it.
It is
Yeah, yeah.
literally
No, go-
ridiculous.
mile
Go
long.
for it. Yeah, go for
So she does become like a Valkyrie, so she has those to begin with. But essentially, her former abilities are quantum energy manipulation. But the whole list includes superhuman strength, speed, durability, stamina, and agility. Psylink with Brightwind, which is Valkyrie stuff. Ability to sense impending death in others. Ability to repel death-based specters. Energy protection. Magic immunity. Weapons expert. Telepathy. I think I'm saying that wrong. Danger sense. Creating illusion. Psionic bow and arrow. Psionic bullet. Psionic bolts. Empathetic telepathic link with animals. Ability to create solid objects out of psionic energy. So what they were focusing on, I think, was mostly just the manifestation of psionic stuff.
it. Yeah.
Just kind of like Psylocke, what she can do.
I basically just I envisioned her being Freddy Krueger.
Kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
that-
Except
that
it's
was-
not a dream. It's literally
Yeah.
just like
It's
in
really
real time.
happening.
Yeah. You don't even need to be asleep.
No, yeah, exactly. Which that is pretty scary.
Yeah, well,
That's very
that's what I
scary.
was saying. Like her walking into a place where that she deems or X-Men deem as a threat, and just being able to unleash that on just on everybody there, and having the giant bear, like that is a very dangerous individual.
Oh my gosh, yes. How do you stop? How do you stop that?
you don't.
That's
Like-
crazy.
You have to have probably like a strong psychic, like one of the people that, if I remember correctly, eventually teaches a lot of New Mutants is Emma Frost. And
That'd
if
be the one to
anybody's
do
strong
it.
enough
Yeah.
to do it, it's her. I mean, she's
Yeah. Do they kill her
Super-
character off in the actual movie?
who?
Is Emma Frost in First Class?
Emma Frost is like nothing in the movies, like she should be.
Yeah, I know.
They
which
just
is
show her
dumb.
turning to diamond ability, and that's
Yeah, but
and
it-
a little bit of her psychic stuff.
But did she die? I can't remember in the movie.
I
though.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope
think
not.
so.
I think.
I think she did.
And that is the issue with the X-Men movies. They show a quick flash of a character and then we never see them again.
Yeah.
Well, like she was 30 in the 60s, and then in the 80s she's 20. That also didn't make
Yeah.
sense.
I just. I mean, I think that's the gripe that everybody has. Like, there's really good parts about the X-Men movies, but it's just completely inconsistent.
Yeah.
at
It
this
always
point.
falls flat. It always falls.
And then you throw like Deadpool stuff in there, and then it's just even more confusing. But I still like how they did that stuff. so I'm fine
back
with it.
to Moonstar, right?
Yeah.
Moonstar. Even though what she was doing and showing everyone's their deepest fears and darkest secrets, I still feel like it should have been turned up a little bit more.
Well, I would have liked her to like react more to it.
Like she,
Like, I know that I guess it's supposed to be like she doesn't know she's doing it. So like anytime she's feeling something traumatic, she just causes trauma for other people instead of to herself. But I don't know. It was really understated. Like too understated.
I think everything about her is understated until like the last 20 minutes of the movie, because when she's affecting the other people, when when the girl is in the church and she's praying and the door opens, and then, she hears a priest's voice and he's telling her, she's going to go to hell and all that. And then the other girl sees the guys with the mask. For her to just be able to walk up to those characters 10 minutes later, oh, you left your toy in there, or, I don't want you to be mad at me. Like, for them to just be like, water under the bridge.
They accepted it way too
Those
easy.
are their greatest fears. Like, there's no way in hell I'd let you in the same, I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
And so I think everything was understated. I mean, if you're pulling at those straws, of people, there's no way it would have just been like, okay, well, that was 20 minutes ago. Let's move on.
Well, also in the beginning too, though, like they didn't know it was her until later. Towards
Well,
the end.
yeah.
But then you're right though. When
they did, I just felt like it was way too like, oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Get out of my head. Like I was
Yeah.
waiting for that to happen. Like
Right.
get out of my head. It's like stop.
Especially with
Yeah.
magic, because like,
Yeah,
Oh,
she-
yeah.
She did try to kill her.
yeah,
It was
Yeah,
kinda
but that was
understated,
early
but-
on.
that was before
Yeah.
she even knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
She was
were-
just
yeah.
like, well,
That was whenever Wolfsbane turned into the wolf and ran around, and it was understated.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm going to tell you. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say from the trailers before, they kept showcasing this movie as this is a horror X-Men movie. I still didn't feel that way.
I wasn't ever like scared.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, I guess it was just supposed to be like
Were we
visual
supposed
horror.
to be?
Well, I mean, even from a thriller aspect,
Yeah.
there were very few points where even when the Slenderman things were following them, the
I
only
wasn't-
point I was like, oh shit, was when they were on the stairs.
Yeah.
When
That's
there was
when I was
multiple,
like-
when there was multiple, I was like, what? There's
Yeah.
more than
Yeah,
one.
but I mean, they never physically harmed anybody.
Mm-mm.
No, they just creeped upon them.
Yeah, I mean, they grabbed her a couple of times. They threw him up against the
Mhm.
fire extinguisher or whatever, but they never physically harmed anybody.
In the trailer and on one of the posters, we didn't get this, I don't think, where they're touching the walls and moving the walls forward. And you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that scene?
I don't know if I remember that one.
Like in the poster, it's like a gray with the yellow text over it, and like the heads and the hands are like pushing out. Like they're in the walls
Yeah.
pushing.
Huh.
We never got that in the movie at all. It was definitely in the trailers. And that to me, that was scary.
Yeah,
And I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, and I am a type of person that if it's well done horror, I will jump at things. I
Yeah.
will, but I never had like this looming sense of dread.
right.
Yeah.
Like the closest was maybe when it's like, is she actually? I mean, how close is she going to get to killing her? But like, I know logically it's not going to happen,
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah.
I don't really feel it.
No. And I don't know if it has to do with it being PG-13 or not.
Well, I think I don't know if it's just me having daughters. I think they really stretched the PG-13 element of the movie with how, I mean, we watched a shower scene with 16-year-olds. Like we saw a 16-year-old side boob. Like
Yeah,
they
forgot
kind
about
of
that.
stretched it. I mean, I understand the relationship between Wolfsbane and Danny. And that was fine. But the rich character, what was his name?
Sunspot?
Sunspot.
Mhm.
So, the way that he kind of came off in the beginning, it was almost wishy-washy. Like, okay, well, how far are they going to go with this? And I like that they kind of pulled it back with the pool scene.
yeah.
But in the beginning, I was like, okay, wait, they're 16, right? Like, it made me question what I was watching for a
Yeah, no,
second.
totally. And that pool scene should have been scarier, I thought.
Yeah, that could have been.
That could have been way scarier.
And maybe that was them pulling back from that R rating, because you're right. The previews and the posters in the beginning, it was supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah, I swear it was supposed to
And
be.
I feel like they cut it off at the knees. Like, it could have been.
No, so I was expecting this to be a lot scarier because mutants, X-Men would be scarier if they were all bad.
Well, yeah.
And not be able to control their powers. And
Right.
to me, from the trailer, I thought we were going to see them not have any limitations. No one's stopping them. And we didn't really get that at all.
Well, and I feel like even when we've seen that in the movies, I mean, if you've had Magneto and they've never really I've never
They never went
been
full
that
Magneto.
scared.
They never went full
Yeah.
Magneto. And
Yeah, they never have. And this would have been a prime opportunity. Another problem that I had is she kept saying you guys have to be able to control your power. It seemed like everybody could control
Yeah,
Mhm.
except for Cannonball. He was the only one who was out of control.
yeah.
And that's literally, I mean, that's just his power. But everybody else seemed to be able to turn it on and off whenever they wanted.
I mean, Sunspot kind of like if he got excited.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He had his
gosh.
moments. But no, like Wolfsbane seemed like she was
Yeah.
totally in tune with what level. I mean, I guess again when she gets excited, like that I don't like when they use that trope either. It's like
Yeah.
I'm about ready to do the do. Powers come out. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, that's weird. I forgot what I was gonna go with now. So we finally get adjusted to what all their powers are. Okay, we know that Moonstar's power is that she can find out your guys' biggest horror and bring it to real life, and she can't control it. So this
Why didn't it affect the Doctor? I don't know enough about that character, so maybe that's why.
Thank you.
I think she had the scene,
She did,
the
yeah.
flashbacks
She
to
did?
Logan. Yeah, the kids in the.
Well, that was-
That
like-
was in her. That was in Danny's head, though.
I think she was seeing it because of the Doctor, though.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something Danny was saying. I was saying, why didn't why didn't
Oh,
the Doctor
okay, I see
have
what you're
something
saying.
that she was being scared by?
Right.
That makes total sense, and it didn't happen.
And I'm like, I don't see why it affects. Again, it could be something. Maybe she has like a force field in her brain, or maybe
So-
there was that little device. I didn't. I assume that was like an Essex thing.
They
Yeah.
still
It
didn't
fell
go-
off,
they
and
didn't
I
talk
didn't
about that at
know.
all either.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
didn't tell. I thought that was going to be the clue because we knew it was Essex, but
Mhm.
the mutants didn't, and I thought that pin was going to be the link.
Mhm.
But then they just pulled their own files and found out who it was anyway. I don't know where
And
that
those
was
files were
Yeah.
just so accessible.
Yeah.
It's still using paper.
Why didn't they find those early? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can knock her out.
Nobody snuck
Well,
in
they
her
knock her out.
office?
With, why didn't they do that
Yeah.
all the time?
Yeah.
Office with her at some point, weren't they?
Yeah, all of
That
them.
made
yeah.
no sense.
Why didn't they? I mean, like, I feel like if Magic's
Like,
like,
while
I've killed
they-
18 men, I'm a killer. Why didn't she just like kill the Doctor while
Yeah.
she was
No,
asleep?
No, exactly. It'd been so easy, but oh my gosh.
Or like when they, I don't even quite understand how they drugged her, but when they drugged her, that would have been a prime opportunity.
Yeah.
Also, how's she controlling her force fields while she's again
That's a good point.
probably a character thing? I don't know, but
Movies.
plot holes.
Yes. Oh my
Some
gosh.
big ones.
But so I felt like the beginning started off really slow, which is okay if you get a good payoff.
Yeah.
The payoff was like right there, and it just didn't. I don't know. I was getting bored a little bit.
I wanted to see her like use her powers against
Yeah.
somebody other. Like I wanted her to fight, and then it was just
Moonstar?
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
wanted
that
her
would have
to
been so cool.
Like I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah,
be like,
I
okay,
want-
what are you gonna do with that bear now that you've got like?
Yeah,
right,
I wanted
like
her.
a face off between her and Magic. Like
Yeah.
they get into it again, and it's
Yeah.
like
No, they're
enough.
friends now. They're friends now. But I wanted to see her use it against the Doctor.
Well, she technically did,
Yeah.
But she,
It
but-
was-
oblivious
She
to her.
did.
But then that's the problem, though. She's oblivious to it the whole time, and we'll get there. But my problem with with how she masters it. Can I touch on it?
she was the
Yeah.
bear whisperer.
It was.
Oh, yeah,
she,
spoilers.
She,
Let's talk-
she
you can go
turned
ahead and talk
into Moana. Have you guys seen Moana where she walks up to the goddess at the end? You know
Yeah.
that the goddess is all pissed. Like she walks up to the bear, and it took her dad to say you're bigger. That's all he had to say for her to be like, I can do it. You know, the bear is huge. Well, you're bigger, and then he walks off, and then
Yeah.
now she has the gumption, and then.
Got this.
And then she wakes up and says stop. Like I don't know, there wasn't any buildup. There wasn't anything like
Yeah.
there was no grit. Like I got this. Like
There
it
wasn't
was-
even like the bear kind of
It was
snapped
like
at
somebody
her.
Right.
trying to
Not at
You know?
dog.
Yeah, you know, it was just like
It was like
heal, and that was
dog
it.
whisperer guy.
Yeah.
That's what she
Yeah.
was doing to the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole entire time, go all the way back to the beginning. So it was her fault. She killed her dad and her whole village because
Uh-huh.
of her
Probably.
dream.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah.
was all their biggest fear was this big bear?
No, that was hers. And so what I think
Her
was
fear
implied was she
manifested and-
finally, her powers manifest, and there's the implication that when your powers show up in puberty, it's a big mess, or can be, and the stronger your powers are in theory, which that might be why they found these kids more specifically, because you're obviously going to learn about the bigger manifestations power. Okay, a coal mine caves in and kills some people because some kid explodes into the wall.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd hear about that. You know, Magic was obviously in a bad situation to begin with, so that's grapevine. girl turns into a werewolf, kills a priest. Probably going to find out about that.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's gonna be on National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, girl kills her entire reservation with a giant bear, tornado. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, so I was just trying to make sense of like the whole thing where, dang, she killed her whole family.
Not just her family, like friends.
Mhm.
Neighbors.
Yeah, like
I mean, the entire tribe.
neighbors.
gone,
Yeah. Which, they're probably, that's a very close knit
So
community to begin with.
that character in the comics, is she like a big deal?
Yeah, I
I don't know either.
she's one of those names that you hear a lot,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily see her in that comic. They're like, oh, we should talk to Danny Moonstar about this sometime.
And they don't.
I mean,
Well, I mean-
sometimes they do, but
Yeah. I don't remember her being pulled in for like long runs.
I gotcha. Well, she knows her powers now. And is the origin for this whole entire New Mutants, is it like that in the comics?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. What I remember reading about Cannonball, I think that he just like kind of started with Husk at the cat. That's what I thought I
Yeah.
remembered. I don't ever remember him going through this.
Yeah. I think there is a portion of them that have like the tragic backstory. Some of them are younger siblings to other X-Men that have kind of moved on.
Yeah.
I don't think that. It's not a whole bunch of sob stories though.
Well, and if I remember it, Colossus searching for Ileana is like a thing. Like that's
for a
something
long
he spends
time.
a long time doing, and then
Yeah.
he finds her, and she's like this crazy sorceress,
Yeah.
knife wielding.
So
sword
they
wielding.
eventually become actual X-Men, right?
Yeah, I think they all do,
Mhm.
or at least associated with.
So then going forward in the comic books till today, I guess, are they the new X-Men that are like,
I don't know.
New
big guys
Mutants,
and-
I feel like was something they did and people kind of like, but they ultimately were like, yeah, but we like Wolverine and
of
Yeah.
course,
Rogue
go
and
back to the-
Gambit.
Go
Yeah, I
back
mean,
to the
it's
same-
it's just like anytime they've ever
Yeah.
tried to kill off the Flash or Superman
you-
or Batman or anything.
Do you think it was too soon to make this movie?
I think it was a very poor time to have to release it.
Mm-hmm.
I think any movie that releases right now with COVID, with things going on,
But even before, like even when this movie was supposed to come out forever ago, and if it would have came out forever ago, I don't think I'd still felt the same.
I think that it, like for me personally, it helps having some prior knowledge. And I think if you have no prior knowledge, that one's a little hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking they made this movie. I'm hoping they made this movie to continue on with the X-Men going forward with these New Mutants.
Well, it would be nice if they actually were like, okay, now you go to Xavier School and then Emma
Right.
Frost is there and we're going to fix all this. But I don't know. It's so convoluted now. Like,
I just don't want them to go back to the same crew of X-Men. I want to see more storylines and new characters and seeing new people in movies.
but do you want to see these stories after watching this movie? Like, are you like,
No, because I don't think they did that good of a job.
well, and I think that's the problem, right? Like, you want to see new characters, but then they give new
Yeah.
characters and you're like, I don't really want to see what
Yeah.
goes.
I don't think that. I think that X-Men movies, there should be a portion of them that are
Just
R-rated.
standalone? Or
No,
just
I think they should
standalone?
be R-rated.
Oh yeah,
I,
for sure.
I think that in order to
Yeah.
make these movies as realistic as possible, it doesn't need to be all blood, guts, and gore and cursing. But I think you have to take it to a place that the Avengers can't go.
You think it's because of Marvel's fault and Disney for not going
No.
that route?
no.
I don't know.
I don't. I mean, so like Deadpool's a thing now, right? And I think Deadpool busted through that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you can do it now.
Well, from
Deadpool and Old Man Logan.
yeah, but
Logan.
from when I was reading that Disney wants to pull back on Deadpool now.
Hmm.
They were like, "We're Disney now, and we're not." Going
I mean,
to.
if they do, I think it'd be a mistake. 'Cause
Oh, I
there's
agree.
That's the point he made, is that
Yeah.
there has to be some of it that's.
No, I totally agree. But realistically, do you think they're going to do?
I don't
that?
think they'll do it with the X-Men. I think they should in certain scenarios,
Yeah.
but I don't think they will.
I think if not the X-Men, who? I mean, you couldn't do it with like the Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. I don't think that you could. I think
You could do it with the Thunderbolts. That'd be cool.
I'm not familiar with them.
Thunderbolts is like it's I mean,
Red
there's been
Hulk
different
is all I
members.
know.
Punisher's been a member. Red Hulk.
Oh,
One of the more
okay.
recent teams was like
Yeah.
Elektra, Deadpool,
Like
other
Dare-
Venom,
I don't
like
know.
Red
They could've-
Hulk.
Like
could've
Daredevil
done
should
an
be rated R.
R-rating in
It's-
Black Widow or something.
An R-rated Deadpool would be
I don't know.
amazing.
It is R-rated.
No, the movie's R-rated.
Deadpool?
Yeah.
No. I said Daredevil.
Oh,
Oh, you said
Daredevil.
Deadpool.
Yeah, really? I'm sorry. But R-rated Daredevil.
Yeah.
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 That'd be perfect.
I mean, and I think like obviously on a platform like Netflix, you have the ability to kind of do that, but they pulled all that off.
on Disney Plus, probably not.
But no, I mean, The Defenders is one. If they actually do that movie, that's a good candidate.
Yeah.
That's gone.
The whole thing with Jessica Jones started out as basically like Marvel X or whatever it was. So
Right.
that was supposed to be a very traumatizing thing.
Man, just make rated R movies. It's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there is money in R-rated
I
movies
think there
still.
is. I that's why I don't
Yeah,
get
but it's
quite
more
the
likely that
hesitancy.
You're going to take your kids to go see a movie than, just have adults go
Right.
see it. I don't know.
And that's the struggle. Like, I think in order to get premier storytelling, you have to go to an R rating. But in order to pull in the crowds,
Mhm.
you have to shy away from it. I feel like if this movie would have been allowed to have an R rating, it could have been so much more.
Oh yeah, I
And
mean,
it could have been an extra 30 minutes longer, and it would have benefited from it.
yeah. I'm saying like look at Logan, and then look at Deadpool. Those are two R-rated movies, and Logan wasn't like full on R.
It did have to be, but
Yeah.
it was the right amount. Like I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
the problem is they're worried that like R rating has to be blood, guts, gore all the time, but
Right.
it doesn't. Like you can just do subtle things.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing like Spawn when I was
Oh
like
my
10,
gosh.
Right.
Ron.
and that was a very well done. I probably shouldn't have been allowed to see it when I was
Right.
10, but my dad had different views on those things.
And was that rated R? That was rated R too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So were the Blade movies.
And it was like scary,
Oh,
but
gosh, I
like
love
even
Blade.
for me, like I've loved that movie
Yeah.
since I was 10 or whatever I was. when it
Blade.
came out.
Sorry, I have to bring this up now that you
Oh,
said
Blade,
Blade.
yes.
Blade has to be rated R. I don't want
Oh,
to see
yeah.
a PG-13 Blade.
Mhm.
Well, like so there was a preview for Morbius there. Is that rated R?
gosh.
Because that should be rated R.
Hope so.
It's probably not.
I don't know
It
if
would
it is.
But from
I
what-
would hate it if it was.
From the trailer that we saw, though, if there was PG, I think it'd be pretty good.
Was
for what it
Venom
is.
rated R?
No.
I
I
remember.
want to say yes, and if it wasn't, they're dumb. This dude was eating people's heads off.
Yeah, I don't remember, but again, like there's certain characters. And again, if it's a team thing, there are teams you can do that. You can do that with the Defenders. You can do that with the Thunderbolts. Cool teams that I don't think that they've.
Carnage better be rated R.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a
Venom was
serial
rated
killer.
PG-13.
What was?
Venom,
was
yeah.
PG-13.
That's why I didn't like it, and I didn't like Tom Hardy as Venom. Sorry, people, don't hate me.
Come on.
I just didn't.
I think
It's
that-
because he.
But I will say this: there have been movies like, the Nolan Batman movies that could have been rated R,
Mhm.
didn't need to be because of the clever ways that they did things.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
And even in the Deadpool movies, there's times where he's cutting off heads, and they don't quite show it. You see the
that's
sword
fine.
slash.
Yeah.
You might see a head in the blurry going out of frame, and I think that's what you would need to do with an X-Men movie. When I see characters that have either violent tendencies, violent weapons. Like I hate seeing, jumping off topic a little bit, they're still mutants. Ninja Turtles, like I hate seeing Leo wielding 2 samurai swords and not cutting anybody.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Why do you
The
have
movie when
swords?
The
Yeah.
only time he uses them is he throws them up into the ceiling.
Picks
so
himself
he can
up.
grab onto him and kick a guy.
I love
Right,
it.
yeah. It's like what are we doing?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, I think it's kind of unfair to kids, right? Like that was one thing, at least for me when I was growing up, is my dad did a good job on educating about violence and
Yeah.
the way it was presented. And I think if it's presented in a way that, and
This is
obviously there's
bad.
certain age restrictions for reasons, but
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that violence necessarily incites violence if it's
No,
for
it's
more than violence.
It's also a teachable moment in some cases. You don't do that, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think Deadpool does a very good job about like this is a guy who lives his life violently, and his life is not. I mean, like obviously it's good at certain parts, but he
makes
loses everything.
he makes the best. Out of
He's
his,
constantly in danger. The people he cares about, the one person he cares about, is constantly
Yeah,
like it's not a good way to live.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely choices in can't think of the word right now. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to be smart. I can't think of a big word right now.
Consequences?
Consequences and repercussions of what your actions
Repercussions,
are. And I feel like in some movies, kids do need to see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they could have done that in this movie because they are kids, right?
No,
They're like,
exactly. You're right.
You know, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I mean, the only thing that really happened was like, all right, we're free now. We're just gonna.
Yeah.
That's why I think a good follow up would be like, okay, are they gonna go and are they gonna cause chaos or are they gonna go to school and
I think it would be
Figure it
cool
out.
to see them cause chaos, trying to find out who they are.
I think it'd be really neat to see maybe half the group has a grudge and the other half doesn't, but they all kind of feel that camaraderie and are split.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get to the grocery store and somebody pisses off Magic, you know, and then they have to run from that, and you know, it would just be neat to kind of see that ebb and flow.
No, that'd be really cool. I like that. If they make a second one, that's exactly what I want to see.
like it shouldn't be wrapped up in a bow too fast.
Exactly.
I'm fine if they want to go to the X Academy and all that stuff, and that's fine. That's a good
Yeah.
eventual, but
We just all know it's going to go there. You don't have to be there right away.
yeah,
Cool.
you have to
And,
break it.
and there's
then
so
fix
many
it.
good X-Men stories that you don't have to be at the school to show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good stories.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So overall, this movie, I was let down. I did like it. Let down. If they make a second one, I'm very curious to see what it would be like.
Yeah, I don't know that they like gave us the necessary direction, so I don't know where a next
Yeah.
one would go, but I'd be curious to see where it went.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it. I don't want my 5 to seem like
Right.
it's not worth seeing. Yeah, I don't want
Worth
5.5
the watch.
to
Worth
seem
the-
like,
definitely worth the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it.
Make
especially
sure.
if you do like the characters.
Yeah, if you like X-Men in general, support the X-Men franchises. Support Marvel, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
they-
well, and the only way you see different things is if you go see it.
Yeah, and they definitely. I feel like some of the better action hero movies are the ones that tell a story and they just happen to have powers. I think that's why Logan was so good. I think.
Oh
that-
yeah, for sure.
That's why some of these movies are
Yeah.
so good, and they did that. The powers, they weren't the focal point.
Yeah.
They really dove into the characters, so it's definitely worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. We're gonna wrap it up now. It's way past time. I'm super tired. I still have to go run.
It's like a sauna in here.
It is.
It's very warm.
Oh my
Very
gosh,
warm.
yeah. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Nikki and Harrison, thank you for being here
no
today.
problem.
Thanks,
I
guys.
appreciate
We'll
it.
come by and intimidate you again
Yeah.
sometime.
Yes. Oh my
Apparently.
gosh. I don't know why. But I'd love to have you guys come on again soon. Please come back if you want to. Just give me some more prep time like Batman and be ready.
We'll write notes. I'll remember all the things I should have remembered about New
Yes. Awesome. Well, stay tuned for more episodes in the future. Everyone, goodbye.